Yet.
Iverson and Stackhouse certainly put up their share of the shots, Jim, and even more so lately because probably their best overall player, Derek Coleman, lacerated a finger trying to block a shot a couple of weeks ago. He is on the injury list. Also, their former starting center, Scott Williams, is out with a toe injury, so they're going to be very light up front.
This is a little scary. Didn't we say this last night at the Boston Garden, or actually the New Fleet Center, playing the Celtics? Yes, you're right, without the big frontline players, but the Warriors still have to go out there and do a job on the boards. They haven't been doing that the first two games on this trip. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, last night the Celtics had the NBA's third overall worst record. The Sixers actually have the second worst record at 8-27. The Warriors will come in with a record of 13-22. We're back with the tip and the lineups in a moment. The new Core State Center in Philadelphia. Warriors will make a change in the starting lineup. V.J. Armstrong and Latrell Sprewell will remain in the backcourt together. Chris Mullin, Joe Smith will be at forwards, but the change necessitated by a left foot pain for Felton Spencer has Todd Fuller making the start tonight. Todd did not get into the game at all against the Celtics last night. Here's the Sixers starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Allen Iverson and Jerry Stackhouse, the backcourt. Starting at small forward is Mark Davis, a second-year man out of Texas Tech, playing very well. Had 24 in their last game. Clarence Weatherspoon will start at power forward, and Michael Cage at 6'9" will start at center for rookie head coach Johnny Davis, named on June the 10th to replace John Lucas as the head coach of these 76ers. The last 2 years he served as an assistant coach with P.J. Carlesimo in Portland, and the previous 4 he was with the Clippers and the Atlanta Hawks. A pretty good player throughout his NBA career, Jim. Matched up with Rick Adelman on many an evening. Rick very concerned about the state of the Warriors after losing in Milwaukee 111-93 on Sunday. They came back and lost a rather disheartening affair last night in Boston, 116-108. And to further make matters worse, Jim, the injuries now. No Felton Spencer, no Bimbo Coles tonight because of the chest problem. So Todd Fuller's going to have to get it together. He has not been playing well for the last couple of months.
And Todd Fuller did start in that game January the 3rd in San Jose. Only played 19 minutes, did not score, managed 4 rebounds. But tonight, he could be on the floor for a lot of minutes. I think the most dangerous player for Philadelphia tonight, Clarence Weatherspoon. I think that's who the Warriors have to be careful of.
And they have been posting up the spoon more with the injury to Coleman. Here goes Jerry Stackhouse. Huge articles today in all the Philadelphia newspapers around the big rumor emanating from New York that Jerry Stackhouse is on the trading block. All the Sixer executives, including their owner, Pat Croce, denied that with me before the game. Here's Joe Smith tied up and fouled by Mark Davis. Davis had 24 points, a career high, in their loss to the Utah Jazz on Monday night. The game went to overtime, and they wound up losing by a point to continue this club's agony. PJ lost the ball inside out of bounds. The Warriors turned it right over. We may see a lot of that tonight. The Warriors committed 21 turnovers last night. They're one of the worst. Philadelphia is the second worst as far as holding out of the basketball. The main culprits, of course, are these two guys, Iverson and Stackhouse. Here's Michael Cage out of the corner. Witherspoon cannot control the rebound. It goes to B.J. Armstrong.
You know, talk about those turnovers. I was shocked to see who leads the league in turnovers. It just is very surprising. The New York Knicks at 19.4 a game. I just can't figure that one out.
Well, it's called on Allen Iverson. Well, the big reason the Knicks are committing so many turnovers, all the turnover they had this summer. All the change in the personnel has them a little disjointed. They had some hideous turnover numbers earlier this year. Sprewell with a tremendous drive right down the vacated Philadelphia defensive lane.
That just gives you a glimpse. A couple of things. First of all, we know about Sprewell, his explosiveness, but the lack of defense from the weak side of Philadelphia.
Mullin able to tip in the missed shot, and the Warriors go up by a score of 4-0. Mullin only had 4 points in Milwaukee and came back last night with only 6, as he's just not been getting any shots on this road trip. Here's Stackhouse one-on-one with Sprewell. Here's Clarence Witherspoon. Drop pass Iverson, and he is fouled in midair by Todd Fuller.
Here's that first move by Sprewell as he beats Stackhouse. Look at the feet of the 76ers on the other side. With the exception of Iverson, they weren't even facing the play. They had their backs to the ball. And you can't simply play team defense that way, not effectively.
Allen Iverson is going to be in the slam dunk contest at the All-Star game this year. They list him at 6, Jim, but I stood side by side to Allen before the last Warrior game. What is he, about 5'10"? He's just a little bit bigger than me.
Yeah, he definitely does not hit the 6-foot tape.
He's going to be in the slam dunk contest against Ray Allen, the rookie from Milwaukee, Kobe Bryant, the rookie of the Lakers, Chris Carr from Minnesota, Michael Finley, and Bob Sura of the Cleveland Cavaliers will be in that competition. There's Iverson pulling the rebound. Pretty good rebounder for a guy under 6, about 4.5 a game. That was a good pass. Witherspoon just bobbled it. Iverson did deliver that one. Here's Witherspoon knocking down an 18-footer, and he ties the game at 4.
I mean, here's the guy that just really has been forgotten this year. His scoring average is way down to 11 a game. He's been averaging in his first 4 years here in Philly 17-2. Sprewell is off to a huge start. You can just see his confidence.
They step back three-pointer for Spree, and the Warriors go up 7-4. Stackhouse travels. That has been his main problem as a professional. That, along with missed shots. He just is not a very good ball handler. In fact, the Sixers are concerned enough with his ball handling skills, Jim. They've been having him, after practice, just do some basic drills. He really has very poor footwork for a young guy that went to North Carolina.
Yeah, he led the league in turnovers last year at 3.5 a game, and this year it's 3.6 in fewer minutes. And that's what's scary. This guy, Iverson, though, one game earlier this year had 10 turnovers in a game.
Well, he may set an NBA record this year. He commits more than 5 a game.
And I'll tell you another thing. He has made more field goal attempts than taken more shots than anybody on this team, and that really shouldn't happen being your point guard. What a great pass.
Joe Smith, the touch pass on the rebound, very Mullen-like into Mullen, and the Warriors take a 9-4 lead. Rick Adelman was very upset with the way his team came out last night, thought that they just were not concentrating, and that led to a bevy of first quarter unforced errors. You could tell by their play tonight and their collective demeanors that they are much more focused. Witherspoon steps through and scores. He had a good game against Utah and Karl Malone here on Monday night, as he had 17 points and 11 rebounds. Warriors have not yet posted Todd Fuller. Ball goes to B.J. Armstrong. All the way inside. Tough finish over Clarence Weatherspoon.
He just had to hang a little longer, and then Weatherspoon disappeared.
This is going to be an up-and-down affair. Mark Davis scores on the quick pass on the break from Iverson. These are two of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. Sprewell banks one in.
I don't think he called it, but I'll tell you another thing. Once he let it go, he knew it was pretty accurate, and he felt it had a chance to go in.
Witherspoon double teamed out to Stackhouse for a three-pointer.
You want to double team Witherspoon. He is not a great passer. You notice he got rid of that quickly, which he should, but if you pressure him, he can be turnover prone.
And you also want to double off of Stackhouse. He's not a very good outside shooter. Here's Joe Smith. We are 5 minutes into this first quarter in Philadelphia. Tough angle, but Joe knocks it down for his first two of the game. Joe had a monstrous second half last night. 29 of his 33 came after the intermission. Not enough, though, as the Warriors lost by 8.
Yeah, that's palming the ball. I don't care what you call it. Iverson is palming the basketball. That's palming, folks. Look at, he's carrying that.
Well, that was the NBA memo sent down, and that's where he gets a lot of his turnovers. He won't get one this time as he glanced off a Warrior. Philadelphia will have 4 on the 24 when we come back. Joe Smith right up against the backboard gets his first shot to fall as the Warriors lead 16-8.
That's
15-8. Over to your local Target store and enter to win 2 floor seats at the Warriors-Seattle game on the 29th of January. It's all part of the Target Fantasy 5 contest. Target, expect more, pay less. In fact, you may be even close enough to see if Gary Payton travels and palms it all in the game, Jim. Not nearly as dramatic as that of Allen Iverson. There's a foul called on the Warriors' Todd Fuller. That's his second foul in the game's first 5.5 minutes. Todd's going to have to stay out of foul trouble tonight because of the Felton Spencer injury. Andrew DeClercq gets up. He'll be in. Warriors off to a great shooting and defending start.
Well, they shot well in that game a couple of weeks ago when they won in overtime. And Philadelphia only shot 38%, the Warriors 52%, but it still went to overtime.
Warriors have been out-rebounded badly on the trip, not so far tonight. The score is 15-8. I said 16-8 heading to the last commercial break. Now it is 17-8, and Sprewell has scored 9 of the Warrior points. Here's Stackhouse off a Weatherspoon pick. Gary off to a poor shooting game again. He has missed his first 3 shots.
Now Fuller cleared the boards very cleanly that time. Mullen just weaves his way down.
Into Fuller, and he scores, and he's fouled. So Andrew DeClercq will have to wait upon entering this game as Todd Fuller's going for a 3-point play. The Warriors have been passing the ball very well to open the game.
See, a clean rebound at the other end gets you into a nice fast break situation. Good pass inside by Mullen. He just created that by that little low dribble down the lane and bringing an extra defensive man toward him.
Left-hander Fuller Conley rails the free throw and the 3-point play. The Warriors now a 12-point lead. Weatherspoon, not doubled this time, gets Joe to bite. Goaltending on Todd Fuller.
Now, if you play Weatherspoon for a couple of minutes and don't let him penetrate, pretty soon he'll just become a fadeaway jump shooter. So I think Joe has to really concentrate on keeping him out of the lane early.
Again into Fuller. This one poked away by Michael Cage, and they say it went off of Fuller. Warriors turned the ball over, and now Todd will exit the game with those 2 fouls. Nice defensive play by Michael Cage.
And you'll see a little bit of help reaching in. Allen Iverson, they say it went off the right thigh. It may have, but that's almost an automatic call going back to the offense.
Andrew DeClercq, like Todd Fuller, did not play at all in last night's loss. Those 2 players have fallen out of the rotation. Well, they are in tonight.
I think Rick felt that last night's game was going to be too much up and down the court, and that probably those guys couldn't keep up with it. Weatherspoon hits another jumper.
He's off to a quick start with 8 points. Sprewell lost the ball off his foot, but a foul is called on Jerry Stackhouse. 76er management, in particular Coach Johnny Davis, sat down with Jerry after yesterday's practice and told him that we're not actively looking to deal you. 3-pointer by Sprewell. Sprewell has scored 12 points in the game's first 7 minutes.
Yeah, you could just kind of feel it in the first 30 seconds of the game. He's only missed 1 shot. He's passed up a couple also, Greg. They're just going to Weatherspoon every time. Good weak side help by Joe.
Armstrong to Mullen. He pops a 3 quickly, and the Warriors have opened up a lead of 26-12. That's enough for Johnny Davis. The Warriors come out focused and very intense tonight, and they are all over the Sixers in the game's first 8 minutes. Doing it on both ends.
Well, now you have Andrew DeClercq matched up on Weatherspoon, but see Joe Smith come down from the weak side. Now the rebound was secured eventually by Andrew DeClercq. BJ knows Mullen's wide open. He just pops and drops. And this team is on fire right now.
And Sprewell's leading them all with 12 points in the game. Another Warrior steal. Mullen to Sprewell with Iverson to beat. Couldn't do it. A little too quick. And the rebound to Michael Cage.
You know, you're exactly right. Against Iverson, he didn't have to be that quick. He could have just used his jumping ability and still stayed strong with it and laid it up.
Here's Stackhouse, still scoreless in the game. 0 for 4. Rebound over to Joe Smith. Philadelphia, they have hit just 5 of their first 15 shots. This is one of the worst shooting clubs in the NBA. Mullen, a 3-pointer. The Warriors are up 29-12.
I mean, they've got to have an incredible shooting percentage, Greg.
Not bad. 71%, incredible. They've hit 12 of their first 17, including 4 3-pointers. 2 by Mullen and 2 by Sprewell.
This offense is not very creative right now.
There's a block. Joe Smith blocking Davis's shot. And the ball is dumped in by Clarence Weatherspoon.
Well, Clarence has provided 10 of their 14 already. And they're just simply going to him one-on-one and standing around. Mullen gets another.
This one's a 2. Mullen has already put up 6 shots in the game. He took in the entire game last night 6. And in the entire game in Milwaukee on Sunday, he took 7. Davis scores. Nice pass through the lane. It is 31-16. Mark Davis played with the Minnesota Timberwolves briefly last year. They let him go. The Sixers signed him as a free agent in mid-September, and he's played extremely well.
He's pretty quick. He's a pretty good defender. He did play 57 games last year. He was their second-round draft pick, number 48 overall.
Sprewell is fronting Stackhouse. Ball swung to the other side. Shot clock down to 10. Davis a screen for Iverson. And he throws up a three-pointer. Rebound to Davis. Iverson really pounds the basketball. Keeps it into Weatherspoon.
He is the epitome of a playground player. Now Weatherspoon's going to get to the line, and this will count.
He'll go for a three-point play. Without the spoon, you could put a fork in this team, Jim. They'd be done.
Well, I said at the beginning of the game, Greg, this was the guy that was going to worry me. And I'm not talking about Lucius Harris. I'm talking about Weatherspoon. He has been their go-to guy. You can also see as he scores there, and you can really understand with Derek Coleman's presence how it's taken away from the offensive productivity of Clarence Weatherspoon.
Michael Cage gets the missed free throw by Weatherspoon. Here's Lucius Harris. Lucius actually started their last game. This one's off the 24-second clock. A dead ball rebound to the Warriors. Harris had 16 points in 37 minutes, both a season high in the loss to Utah on Monday. Played his first 3 years with Dallas. He's a 76er free agent signee this summer. They gave him a 7-year contract, and he has performed just miserably. They're trying to get him going. Here's B.J. Armstrong, a three-pointer. Good luck for B.J. With 1:45 to go in this Warrior-dominated first quarter, the Sixers get the ball back. Armstrong 1 for 3 from the floor. And now B.J. is going to take his first rest of the game. Mark Price, who was last seen strolling out of the Fleet Center tunnel after being ejected by referee Ron Elysiak. Mark told me after last night's game it was the second time, actually, he's been kicked out of a pro game.
Well, that happened at the 9-minute, 30-second mark of the fourth quarter. And had he made that shot, he did make the shot. Had he not called the traveling, Warriors would have been down by 7.
Mullen drops to Sprewell. And Spree gets the bounce. 14 points for Sprewell, 12 for Mullen. Simply put, one of the most impressive 12 minutes of Warrior basketball this year.
And those are the two guys that really did the most damage with Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. Now Weatherspoon was simply manhandled inside by Andrew DeClercq.
Second foul of the game called on Andrew. Actually, we have two Spoons here, Jim. We have Clarence Weatherspoon and we have Bill Spooner. The referee working with Ronnie Nunn and Mark Wunderlich. Looks like a very thin gathering inside the new Core State Center tonight. They have been drawing remarkably better this year. They're up 32%.
Yeah, they're about, what,
from last year.
4,000 more per night.
3,700 up from last year. Mark Price a three. Rebound pulled by Mark Bradkey, 28-year-old rookie out of Australia.
He's just a rebounder. He's a guy that can really rebound. He led the Australian League in rebounding. Here's that one-dimensional offense again, but it's working for Weatherspoon.
Weatherspoon had to shoot that jump hook a little deeper out than the previous shots, but he is just going off here. The Spoon has 14 points. He has hit 7 of 9 from the floor. Philadelphia only has 2 other baskets in the game, and they're down 13. Shot clock at 10, 40 seconds to go in the quarter.
Sprewell wants to back in.
And he scores over Davis. Sprewell with a 16-point first quarter.
Now, Joe Smith wanted to post up himself, and Spree just cleared him out. And why not when you continue to score at that torrid pace?
In the second half last night, it was Sprewell and Joe Smith. In the first quarter of the night, it's Sprewell and Mullen. They've combined for 28 of the Warriors' 35, yet Clarence Weatherspoon is hanging right with them. He has 16 himself.
You know, I think during halftime they just ought to bring Weatherspoon out and play with Sprewell and get a little one-on-one. It's almost the story of the game. Keep trading baskets.
It's really been going. It's Sprewell Mullen playing 2-on-1 against the Spoon, and as good as Spoon is, Jim, I like the extra guy on my side. That is the first 12 minutes of play. The Warriors shoot 63%. Sprewell scores 16, Mullen 12, and they lead by 13. Got 63% in the first quarter to Philadelphia's 39%. Mullen and Sprewell combined to hit 12 out of 15 shots. They scored 28 together, 16 by Spree. Clarence Weatherspoon, though, kept Philly in the game in that first quarter with 16 points himself. Donyell Marshall, who grew up not too far away in Reading, Pennsylvania, actually has 50 friends and family members here, including his mom, to watch him play. Last year over at the Spectrum, he had his best game of at least on the road last year, as he went for 24 points in a Warrior victory. Here's Sprewell getting 2 Sixers in the air, then scoring. Sprewell continuing to go off here.
Well, that move was quickness and then recognition and patience at the end, as he just put 2 people up in the air. The big one, Ratke.
Here's Don McLean. Don McLean, the former UCLA star, has been having a very tough time with the 76ers. They've been booing him here, like they've been known to do on occasion in Philadelphia. And once the fans turn on you, it's tough to get them back on your side. You have to play through it. Sprewell is just killing them. 20 points for Sprewell in the game's first 21 points. That was a 3 in the game's first 13 minutes. Here's Don McLean, very smooth scorer when he has a shot falling.
Yes, he is. Very gifted scorer, but that is the extent of his game.
Foul's called on Donyell Marshall, his first foul of the game. Donald Royal is also in for Rick Adelman, as Adelman goes to his bench heavily in the second quarter. Warriors are playing a backcourt of Mark Price and Latrell Sprewell. Donald Royal, Donyell Marshall, Joe Smith compose the front line. Doug Overton is now in for Philly. He's their backup point guard. Iverson's out. Lucius Harris from the corner. Mark Davis steals it away from Joe Smith.
You got a glimpse of that quickness.
Ratke with the dunk. Mark Davis with a poke away on Joe, and then he picks up the assist following his steal. There goes Price. Out to Donyell, wide open. And he knocks it down.
He couldn't shoot from the outside last night. And just like to see that first one go down for him. I hate to see a guy just rely on, how you play, if you hit that first shot or not. But Donyell does that, and he comes up with a block at the other end.
On Don McLean, Joe Smith hits it across midcourt. Price all the way in, gets the basket, and he's fouled. Well, now it's contagious. The Warriors, who could not do anything right in the first half last night in Boston, seemingly cannot do anything wrong tonight so far, Jim.
And it comes at both ends. At the other end of the floor, it was a block by Donyell Marshall. And then Mark Price will complete the three-point play. I say that because he hasn't missed in how many times now? He's got something around 40 out of 41 going.
Well, now he is tied Terrell Brandon for the top spot in the NBA. 91% free thrower. Johnny Davis calls another Sixer timeout, but he is running out of answers. This team has won only one time since the Saturday after Thanksgiving. The San Jose Arena this year is through the Warrior 5-packs, 5 different games for only $100. 4 different plans to choose from. The one with Michael and the Bulls, another with Shaq and the Lakers, Charles and the Houston Rockets. One has Penny Hardaway and all weekend games when he comes in with the Orlando Magic. So call the Warriors, 510-986-2222. Greg Papa, Jim Barnett back in Philly. The Warriors getting 21 points from Latrell Sprewell, 2 from B.J. Armstrong, and 3 from Mark Price, are just devouring the Sixer, more publicized backcourt of Iverson and Stackhouse and company. Don McLean drives down his second shot. He is shooting only 34% this year as a Sixer, a year that has been partially held back due to injury. Donald Royal slips in another play. How many three-point baskets and three-point plays do the Warriors have in this game?
Well, when it rains, it pours. And last night, so many miscues. And now it seems like everybody gets in the act. Look at this. This is a very tough shot. And yet, the Warriors get the favorable bounce.
Jerry Stackhouse returns for Philly. Speaking of raining and pouring, the Warriors are hoping for a quick game tonight and to get out of their charter aircraft because some bad weather is moving into the Philadelphia area. They expect an ice storm right around 2 a.m.
And we're flying right to it because it's over Indiana right now. Donald Royal misses the free throw. Talked to him before the game. He said he's still trying to find his rhythm after being on the injured list.
Did you check the Doppler radar in your room before you left, Jim?
No, but I know.
Get the weather pattern?
No, just listen to the news.
Sprewell into Marshall. He goes up. They thought he may have traveled here in Philly. Ball goes over to Overton. Up the floor to Don McLean.
Now see, this guy is a designated shooter. He doesn't make anybody else better around him. Not a great defender, but he can light up the Warriors as we witnessed. Remember that in Denver? Got a career high.
And I remember it just 2 weeks ago. He had 13 points in the fourth quarter in the overtime in a game the Warriors beat the Sixers on January the 3rd in San Jose. And he was very good. Warrior lead down to 17. And now it's down to 15 as Bradkey slips one down. He went from the 36ers to the 76ers. Played for the Adelaide 36ers 5 years in the Australian League, and last 4 years the Melbourne Tigers before signing with Philly. Once their playoffs were over, Royal driving, and he picks up a foul on Bradkey.
They've got Stackhouse defending Donald Royal because Sprewell just simply destroyed Jerry Stackhouse. Davis is defending Sprewell. And again, Donald Royal simply went around Jerry Stackhouse. Jerry Stackhouse seemingly has lost his confidence at both ends of the floor right now. All those articles about him, possible trades. He knows it's part of the game, but it certainly has to bother him.
Royal misses the first free throw. Todd Fuller is back in, and Joe Smith will leave. Joe, a quiet first 16 minutes of play, just 2 points. Warrior fans, be a part of the NBA at 50 celebration when the Warriors host the Supersonics on January the 29th. They'll take a nostalgic trip through the decades with videos, fireworks, music, and a special live entertainment show. Tickets are available at the San Jose Arena and all Bass ticket locations, so call 510-762-BASS or 408-998-BASS for your tickets.
Well, I think the only thing the Warriors have done wrong tonight, missed free throws, and Donald Royal has missed all 3. The Warriors are 2 for 5, and they're just not dropping for Donald.
Foul on Sprewell here for Latrell. His first foul of the game. We are 4 minutes into the second quarter. The Warriors lead by 15 points. Here's Stackhouse. They double team him nicely, and he throws it away.
That was good help defense too. They all packed it in.
Price scores. The Warriors did a good job defending against Philly's quick guards in San Jose a couple of weeks ago. They did it by moving their feet laterally very well and cutting off both Iverson and Stackhouse, in particular Iverson. Here's Overton, their backup point, into Witherspoon, and he draws a foul. Foul's called on Todd Fuller. He quickly picks up number 3.
Well, last time Stackhouse gets the ball, he drives baseline, watch him get double teamed, and watch Price just come back in to the lane to make the steal. Donyell Marshall's over on the weak side. Donald Royal, you see, he's playing perfect defense. He knows exactly where his man is and where the strong side ball is. Price just packs it in, and you're off and running at the other end. That's excellent help defense, good recognition, and everybody eyes on the ball.
Todd Fuller is out of the game after picking up his 3rd foul. He's played only 8 minutes in the game. Allen Iverson, the man they call the answer, has returned to play point guard. Witherspoon makes it a 49-33 game. Mark Price and Allen Iverson had their moments getting after each other. Iverson slips down this time trying to get around a pick, and Price left open drills one.
Finish your story, because I'm going to amplify your story with a little one of my own about those two.
Well, let's hold on to it. A break is going to be coming up. Next stoppage of play. Witherspoon dunks it to make it a 51-35 game.
You can tell me a little of it.
Well, Price and Iverson just got after each other. Mark Price left the game very agitated with Iverson. He was overheard along the press table screaming at Iverson as a 3 is nailed by Donyell Marshall. Screaming at Iverson. What's this little punk talking to? So who does this little punk think he is talking to me?
That began during the exhibition season. You recall the Warriors came back here and played an exhibition game against Philadelphia. Mark Price.
Stackhouse dunks it. Adelman very upset. Second time the Warriors have been unable to clear a rebound.
We'll have time to finish it now. But Mark Price missed his first 2 shots in that exhibition game, and Iverson said, hey, I don't have to guard you anymore. And let me tell you right now, Mark Price booked it, and he hasn't forgotten it. That guy was popping off on an all-NBA player, an all-star who'd been around for 10 years. That was in the exhibition season.
Foul's called on Mark Bradtke, his second foul of the game. The Warriors actually helped christen the Moore States Arena. The first basketball game played here is the one Jim was referring to in the preseason, a game Philadelphia won 104-93. Bradtke takes a rest. Back into the game is Michael Cage. Stackhouse trying for a steal. Pokes the ball into the crowd. Usually after the first 5 minutes of play in a quarter, by league rules, a timeout is called, but Philadelphia called the timeout earlier this quarter I'd forgotten about, so we will not have that stoppage of play I was waiting for. Donyell Marshall, a 3. And good rebound by Donald Royal in traffic.
But Donald Royal does so many little things for this club.
And a little bit of that. A tremendous 360 spin and finish inside. Don McLean fouls him, and Donald will go for another Warrior 3-point play.
Well, he is a scorer, not a shooter. And he's not a real gifted scorer. Has to work for all of his points. But I watched him last night, and you saw it a moment ago as we telestrated. He helps out on defense. He gets in the way of people, picks up charges. Right there, he picked up a loose ball, and now it results in a 3-point play for himself and the Warriors.
Very simple math. 3 is better than 2. When you keep scoring 3-point goals and 3-point plays, you're eventually going to open up a 20-point lead, which the Warriors now enjoy. Now it's 18. Clarence Weatherspoon is hit 10 of 12 from the floor. He has 21 points. He has 21 of Philly's 39. Here's Price with a left-hand scoop. You are right, Jim. He is really fired up to play Iverson. Iverson, by the way, is 0 for 4, and he only has 2 points. Almost threw it away inside. Ball poked out by the Warriors.
Look at Mark Price. He went way off the floor trying to pick that pass from Iverson.
Chris Mullin, Joe Smith return. Andrew DeClerc and Donyell Marshall get applause.
And Marshall did a nice
Rick
job.
Adelman as they leave.
He did a nice job, didn't he?
Warriors putting Price out there now with Sprewell. Sprewell's played the entire game so far. Stackhouse scores. Stackhouse has 4 points. Iverson has 2. And they are Philly's top 2 scorers, combining for about 40 a night. Witherspoon, good rebound, good pass. Stackhouse.
He almost lost it. He was all alone. That almost slipped out of his hands.
Joe Smith, just 1 basket and 2 points, but he's played well defensively. Going to work on Cage. Sixers, like Boston last night, playing with an undersized center, Michael Cage, at 6 feet 9 inches tall.
He never tries to do too much. He understands his limitations. In fact, led the league in steals to turnover ratio last year, Michael Cage did.
Ooh, Witherspoon bricked that one after a good move to get Royal right off the baseline. 4 minutes to play in the first half. Warriors 67% shooting numbers in the early portion of the game, led by Latrell Sprewell. Sprewell has hit 10 of 14 shots. He has 23 points in the first half.
I'll tell you, it feels good when you're out there playing and you just know the shot's going to go down. The basket seems to be about a foot bigger than normal. And that's the way it feels for Latrell right now.
Mullin the rebound. Warriors maintaining a huge lead throughout the second quarter. Right now it's 20. As Price misses a 3, rebound to Michael Cage.
That was the same spot on the floor where Price got called for traveling last night. Made the same identical move, and it might have been going through his mind because he has that little hop to it.
Allen Iverson's been pulled out of the game again, and this one is not the normal rotation. Doug Overton, the backup point guard, just drove in that last shot. Iverson's been benched here late in the first half. Timeout called by Rick Adelman. The Warriors all over the Sixers with 3:09 to go in the half. Warriors 63, Philly 45. Indiana Pacers have certainly missed this guy, 7'4" Rick Smits. He is back, and the Pacers are back a little bit. Here is the Indiana Pacers, though. Reggie, and we'll see that great matchup. Reggie Miller versus Latrell Sprewell on Friday night. It'll be stop number 4 on this Warrior road trip right here on KICU at 6 o'clock. Indiana, they've lost their last 2. They are 2 games under 500 going into a finale of a road trip against the Clippers. Sprewell with 23, the Warriors with 63 and an 18-point lead. Make it 65 and a 20-point advantage. Mullen has added 14 points in this first half. Mullen is 6 of 7 from the floor. Latrell Sprewell is 10 out of 14. B.J. Armstrong pulls down the miss from Stackhouse. Sprewell travels on the first step. Warriors, though, that is only their 5th turnover of the first half after committing a
13.
Well, 8 in the first quarter they
Right.
had in last night's game.
13 overall first half.
And 21 for the evening.
What was disappointing too, the Celtics turned it over 23 times and the Warriors still lost that game. Yes, Overton, he can't break people down like Iverson, but he can shoot the ball from the outside and he doesn't take bad shots. Not a big scorer.
Joe Smith fouled by Witherspoon.
Oh my word.
Oh my, that ball went in.
It's
How did that bounce in the basket?
there's a magnet there tonight. We've seen Donald Royal drop one in.
Joe's even laughing at this one.
Yeah, well, this is kind of funny because he just gave up on the play and said, I'm just going to get 2 free throws. He knows it doesn't have a chance, and then, oh my word. He says, yeah, why not? Let's see, the tip will probably go back in.
Davis to McClain. Don McClain has done his part off the bench. 8-point game for McClain. McClain played his first 3 years with the Bullets and went to Denver last year before signing as a free agent with Philly this past July.
He's had a lot of trouble this year and the last 2 years with injury. This is very porous defense from Philadelphia. I knew the Warriors, I think they'd be very happy just to trade baskets the rest of the way and get a 20-point win. I'm not sure Philadelphia is good enough to put up a strong defensive front to try to get back in the game.
Foul on BJ will put Jerry Stackhouse onto the free throw line. Stackhouse has had a very hard adjustment year, integrating Allen Iverson into the Philly backcourt. Stackhouse is playing fewer minutes, has scored fewer points, fewer assists, fewer steals, fewer blocks, and he also has more turnovers. In the game against the Utah Jazz on Monday night, Stackhouse was benched for 24 of the game's final 29 minutes. The game went to overtime. He played just the last 3 seconds of the fourth quarter and then just 2 minutes of the overtime. And that was because Iverson had fouled out of the game. They just simply benched Stackhouse. He didn't score in that game. A field goal, went 0 for 6.
All points came from the free throw line, only 4 of them.
Probably his worst game as a pro. Shot clock down. Up at 1. It's just going the Warriors' way tonight. They seemingly cannot do anything wrong. Even when it looks like they're in a little bit of a jam, they get out of it. Joe Smith has struck for 8 of his 10 in the second quarter, and the Warriors maintaining a huge lead throughout, are up 20 still.
Now, they could have used some of this luck last night. Just a little bit of this luck last night, I think, could have gotten them over the hump. And it's been skill, but there have been some balls bouncing right to the Warriors, and they made the most of their possessions.
Clarence Weatherspoon will be on the free throw line. Weatherspoon, Philadelphia's #1 draft pick back in '92. He is the senior member of this team now into his 5th year, but constantly the trade rumors swirl above his lockers. He just has a difficult time in this new motion attack of the Sixers. He's not a very good wing player, and when Derek Coleman's healthy, they play him at small forward, and he's really more of a power player.
He's kind of a tweener on that, and he's really not as tall as they may list him.
And they say Coleman will be back possibly by next Monday.
Coleman is the real key to this whole thing. Gary Coleman, very talented player. You're paying him all that money. He's got to play their leading rebounder, but he and Iverson get into a two-man game. There you see Derek, and it's taken away from the offensive production of Clarence Weatherspoon and also from Jerry Stackhouse. People just stand around the two-man game, Iverson, Coleman, and nobody does anything else on the weak side, and that's what their offense simply has come down to so often.
See that wrap on his pinky. Derek cut his hand on the rim, trying to block a shot recently. Took 10 stitches to close the cut, and he's on the injured list. Shot clock at 12. They did reset it momentarily. That was not the right call. Now it's at 12. With 35 seconds to go in the half, B.J. Armstrong scores, and this is the largest scoring half for the Warriors all year. They had 72 Thanksgiving night against New Jersey. And now here in Philadelphia, they have run up 73 points on the Sixers, shooting 70% from the floor. They have hit 32 of 46 shots, including 6 of 13 beyond the three-point line.
I don't know which is worse, the individual defense of the Sixers or their overall team defense. But both of them seem to be non-existent.
Would you say defense is their problem then? Here's that way. Here's B.J. spotting up. Sprewell, though, takes it himself, then back out finally for a B.J. three. Joe couldn't reach the rebound. One of the few things that went wrong for the Warriors in that first half. But they'll go into the locker room feeling very good about themselves. Last time they went in half last night in Boston, B.J. was screaming. Mullen kicked a chair. But tonight, they wonder about Philadelphia's problems as they score 73 points and lead the Sixers by 21. For 6 on their three-pointers. The Warriors' one problem really was free throw shooting, but how do you say it's a problem? They were just so good. Jim, take us through our Target halftime highlights tonight.
Well, so many to choose from. Chris Mullen always makes good decisions with the basketball. Now, this was late in the second quarter when everything was going right. Clarence Weatherspoon fouls Joe Smith on the play. The ball somehow manages to find the bottom of the net to complete the three-point play. But this guy, was he brilliant tonight. Latrell Sprewell shooting over Jerry Stackhouse. 2 of his game-high 23 points. He was 10 for 14 in the first half. Mark Price comes off the bench. There's that rivalry with him, and Allen Iverson takes him to the basket. Mark Price, 4 for 7, 9 points. And those are your leading scorers for the Warriors. Sprewell with 23. Mullen, 14. 6 for 7 from the field. Those are your Target halftime highlights.
First shot of the second half, a miss, but Joe Smith pulls the rebound, goes right back up and scores. Joe only had 2 points in the first quarter, but scored 8 in the second quarter. Now he has the first 2 of the third. It all adds up to 12. Allen Iverson, who was benched in the later stages of the first half, was in the Philadelphia locker room for a very long time. Did not come out until just moments before the third quarter began. Iverson in that first half scored only 2 free throws, 0 for 4 from the floor, only 2 points in total. We'll keep an eye on the rookie. Warriors now up by 23. Warriors playing the way they started the game. Armstrong, Sprewell with Mullen, Smith, and Fuller. Armstrong went up with nowhere to go. That's a rule of basketball that he broke. You only go up when you have a shot. And it results in a turnover up the floor. It results in a dunk for Clarence Weatherspoon.
You know, Greg, that point you're making about leaving the floor and then trying to create something. In the old school, you would never do that. But in today's players, Stephon Marbury, Allen Iverson, Gary Payton does it. Somehow these guys are more creative. They can hang in the air longer, and they can make that play with a little more consistency.
Well, they also turn the ball over with more consistency, and a lot of it is on that very play.
No, I agree with that.
Joe Smith out of the corner, the offensive rebound. Joe having a conversation with somebody seated in the first row. Joe is into it tonight, as are the Warriors. 14 points for Joe after a 2-point first quarter. Witherspoon, 24 points in the first half. And Stackhouse let it go right between. He waited. Sprewell will not quite be able to pick it up, but the Warriors will inbound the ball underneath the basket they're attacking.
Now that was pretty revealing. Ball goes into the backcourt. You don't chase it down. I did that one time when I was a member of the Trailblazers with Rick Adelman. Nobody chased it down. I dunked it. And that gives you a little eye-opening. And Sprewell was thinking the same thing. I want to amplify that point, and I agree with you. More turnovers, and that's the story of the game, and people kind of accept those turnovers. You can see the mentality of a guy like Allen Iverson, and it really shouldn't be that way. That's the problem.
Joe Smith knocks down another one. Joe is beginning to pick it up now. It was Mullen and Sprewell that carried the club first 18 minutes of the game, and now Joe is making it a trio. Ball knocked out of bounds. Mark Davis starting at small forward for the injury hit 76ers, playing without Derek Coleman and Scott Williams. Their center and power forward on the Warriors' last play. Jerry Stackhouse with a dunk, and he's fouled. Mark Wunderlich calls a late foul, saying that Stackhouse got hit across the face. Apparently it was Todd Fuller.
Yes.
That nailed him for Todd. It's his 4th foul of the game. Let's see what he does.
Well, let's see when it occurs. Is it after the basket? The basket's made. Now, I'll tell you what. You couldn't see from the angle the official was at to see if he got fouled or not. I thought he pulled his hand back. A little bit of contact, but it was more or less after the basket had been made.
Out of the corner, Latrell Sprewell with the miss. Rebound of the Spoon out to Iverson. And he throws it behind Davis, who makes the adjustment to save a turnover. Sprewell is guarding Iverson. This should be a good matchup. Two of the quickest players in the NBA. Iverson's first basket of the night. Iverson averages better than 22 points a game. He's the NBA's number 9 scorer. He only has 4 points tonight. Palming violation on the Warriors. Sprewell, of all things, Warrior coaches were yelling for a palm on Iverson in the game's first 5 minutes, and now Sprewell's called for it. Todd Fuller is being watched tonight by his former high school coach and one of the greatest 76ers of all time, and a guy who is right now in consideration for the Basketball Hall of Fame, one of the nominees, Bobby Jones. There's Witherspoon, able to get the roll.
Bobby Jones, one of the NBA's all-time great defenders, and evidently he did not tutor Iverson in that department.
B.J. Armstrong gets an easy one. Bobby Jones must be cringing as he watches the modern-day Sixers play. They are a terrible outfit defensively. Iverson a quick hoist and a miss. Warriors up 20.
And that's your point guard, and I'm going to criticize him because he just shouldn't shoot a shot like that.
Mullen inside for a B.J. Armstrong layup. Johnny Davis will not call a timeout. The Warriors are buzzing this team in every way. Armstrong with his 2nd assist of the game. Mullen has 14 points. Joe Smith has 16 points. Iverson with the clock down. Missed. Rebound to Clarence Weatherspoon. Fuller in the air. Todd Fuller was going to leave the game anyway, and now he's even in further foul trouble. That is Fuller's 5th foul of the game. Andrew the clerk was waiting to come in for Todd, and he finally is able to get in, but Fuller with the starting role tonight. We'll see his playing time diminished. Only 11 minutes of action for Todd Fuller tonight. As we say, prior to his senior year, Fuller transferred to crosstown rival Charlotte Christian High School, where he was coached by Bobby Jones. And Todd's mother, Sherry, says that it was Bobby Jones that turned her son's life around and made him a very competitive basketball player. Todd loves to tell the story. The first day of practice, they played one-on-one afterwards, and Bobby said to him, "All right, there's no out of bounds." And they proceeded to play, and Bobby Jones dove into the bleachers to get a basketball, and he said, "Whoa, this guy meant it." Chris Mullen, a 3-pointer. Rebound to Mark Davis up the floor. Stackhouse, nice catch. And he almost throws it away. Clarence Weatherspoon with 30 points tonight.
That's a season high.
The Sixers have 65, and he has 30 of them. A Wilt-like performance. Mullen blocked. And Mullen will be on the line. Fouled by Michael Cage. Witherspoon with 7 rebounds, Jim, along with the 30 points.
Watch him make an adjustment here. Watch him dribble back. Now he's got to the position and powers up. He led the Sixers in rebounding 3 of his first 4 years here in Philadelphia.
John McClain is back in. That play right there, I just don't understand why they're all on Witherspoon. They call him a tweener. They say he's too small to play inside. He gets it done inside.
Yep.
And he's not that much shorter, if at all, shorter than Charles Barkley. He may be taller than Barkley. Nobody gets on Barkley.
And he played center at Southern Mississippi. He is one of 4 players. Stackhouse can't finish all the way, but he does get to the line. But Witherspoon is one of 4 players to score 5,000 points, or he's the 4th to score 5,000 points in his first 4 seasons. Warriors by 20. We'll be back.
Next year at this time, the Warriors will be in the new Oakland Arena. One of the most exciting features of the new Oakland Arena will be 72 luxury suites. These suites allow fans to view virtually all arena events in a plush yet comfortable atmosphere. For more information on new Oakland Arena luxury suites, please call area code 510-986-5300.
You know, we talked about that last night in Boston. 8 calls to the Warriors at that number after we talked about that. And I'm glad to see it's generating some excitement. And again, you have to emphasize that it's for all the events at the Oakland Arena. So you could see 100+ events a year. And that's really pretty much of a bargain when you factor in everything.
Well, they're really having a boost in attendance here in Philadelphia. As we mentioned, the biggest boost in the league at 32%. They are up in attendance at over 15,700 per game. I had a chance to talk to their very energetic new team president and part owner, Pat Croce, before the game. V.J. Armstrong the steal, and he will go in and score to make it a 20-point Warrior advantage again. The Warriors were up by as many as 25 earlier in this 3rd quarter.
Allen Iverson acts like it's a scrimmage, like it's a summer scrimmage. By the way, he played that summer league and averaged 23 field goal attempts per game. On the Sixers, he's between 18 and 19. He leads the entire team in field goals attempted.
Here goes Sprewell. Pat Croce, the former strength and conditioning coach of first the NHL's Philadelphia Flyers, and later on he worked with the 76ers. Then he bought and started a rehab clinic, and one of his first guys to come his way was Mike Schmidt of the Philadelphia Phillies. Iverson scores to cut it back down to 20. Only Iverson's 2nd basket of the game. After Mike Schmidt won the National League MVP in 1980, he thanked Pat Croce, and that got Croce's business booming. Then Dr. J went to see him at his rehab clinics, and all of a sudden he had a string of them, over 40 of them in 11 different states. And Croce decided to sell those. He convinced Harold Katz to sell him the Sixers. And he is one of the most unique guys in all of sports, Pat Croce. I asked him before the game what the new arena has done to his Philadelphia 76er franchise.
Here it's a rejuvenation. It brings about, although the Spectrum, the old Spectrum, has that aura, it's got that good sweat aura. This brings on a whole newness, and here it's perfect for the 76ers because it is a new dawn, a whole new era with a new general manager, new coach, new ownership, new players, new excitement. So it brings about new, and everyone, we're all kids at heart, we all like something new.
And they needed new. Last year they averaged 11,935, their lowest figure since the 80-81 year, and as I say, now they're up to better than 15,700. Jerry Stackhouse missing a 3. Don McClain right back. Rebound ricochets to the Warrior. Sprewell.
Get the ball in the middle. Doesn't matter, I guess. You know, the most interesting thing, I listened to that interview. He was a very charismatic man, Pat Croce. But I thought it was interesting when he talked about the Sixers being subservient to the Philadelphia 76ers, the hockey team, and, you know, kind of playing second fiddle to them, and now they're on equal footing.
Well, Comcast took control of the Sixers, the Flyers, and this new arena, the Core State Center. They still run the Core State Spectrum. The old Spectrum is still up and being used. Ed Snyder is the chairman of all those ventures, and Pat Croce has a piece of it, so it's a nice relationship now between the Sixers and the Flyers after many years of being at each other's throats. The point is, the Warrior fans could look forward to possibly that type of boost next year. All of the newness that Mr. Croce was referring to with the Sixer franchise will be coming the Warriors' way next year.
They don't want that record, though, duplicated. You can let that one stay new.
Stackhouse the miss, rebound to Andrew DeClercq. Under 5 minutes to go in the quarter. Philadelphia has lost their last 9 and 19 of their last 20. They began the year decently. The Saturday after Thanksgiving, they were 7 and 8. Oh, Sprewell blew a bunny and a nice pass by Joe Smith. One thing about this game, the Warriors grabbed control of it early on. They led by 13 after 1, and they've been up the high teens all night. Philly really has not made a spurt yet. It is now a 20-point Warrior lead. Usually in NBA games like this, when one team leads by so big of a margin so quickly, the other team invariably will come back. We'll see if that happens, Jim. The Philadelphia 76ers are not playing good enough defense to come back at all.
Yeah, that's the difference in the game. And I said it before, I don't think they're talented enough to play defense. Well, I wouldn't want to say that, but right now they don't have a defensive mindset. Again, it's almost like it's a scrimmage. There was a lot of that last night.
Sprewell!
Look at how the lane opened up. I mean, no one stopped the ball. Johnny Davis stops the game, but your first object of attention is to stop the basketball. And everyone just simply backed away from it. Sprewell home free, and the Warriors up by 24.
76ers having a rough one tonight, but 30 years ago they were on top of the basketball world, and they had one of the greatest teams in the history of the NBA. It was the 1966-67 76ers who began that year with an incredible 46-4 start to the year, and under the direction of former Warrior head coach Alex Hannum and the greatness of Wilt Chamberlain inside. Other people like Wally Jones, certainly, Hal Greer, Chet the Jet Walker, and Billy Cunningham. They would go 68-13 before ending the Celtics' run of 8 consecutive NBA championships. For Wilt Chamberlain, at long last, his first NBA title. First ball foul called here on Andrew DeClercq and the Warriors. It goes back over to the 96-97 Sixers.
I thought that was a great hustle play. And there wasn't much contact at all. He just simply beat the Sixers to the ball right near the rim. You know that other guy throwing champagne on the top of Alex Hannum? You saw Hal Greer. That was old number 20, former Warrior Dave Gamby out of Oregon State. In that old footage.
Another foul called on Andrew DeClercq. That's his 4th of the game. Daniel Marshall will be checking in momentarily. DeClercq came in for Todd Fuller, who picked up 4 and was forced off the floor. Mark Price is back in to play point guard. B.J. Armstrong will take a rest. Daniel comes in for DeClercq. At 66-67, Sixer Championship Club was, of course, voted one of the top 10 in the history of the NBA. And in a much shorter list, Jim, they could be included in probably the top 2 or 3. A lot of people think, in fact, they are the very best team of all time.
Here's what's interesting about that. They were 68-13 that year. There were 10 teams in the league, so that was the last year that the NBA played an 81-game schedule. And the next year they went to 82. And that means they had to play the Boston Celtics, the defending champions, 9 times. I was with the Celtics. We won 60 games that year. So the Sixers won 68 games playing against teams like the Boston Celtics, teams like the New York Knickerbockers, the Los Angeles Lakers, who were very strong in those days. So those 68 wins meant a lot. It wasn't against the Sisters of the Poor.
Allen Iverson on the line. Tough night for Iverson, just 6 points. Back in the USSR, the great song by the Beatles is tomorrow's KFOG ticket tune-in. Whenever you hear Dave Morey play Back in the USSR by the Beatles between 6 and 9, be the 10th caller at 1-800-300-KFOG, and you'll get a free pair of Warrior tickets. That's KFOG's ticket tune-in, 104.5 in San Francisco, 97.7 in San Jose. Iverson blew both free throws.
Sprewell missed a layup. Iverson gets the reverse. You know, Sprewell, who was so hot in the first half, making all kinds of shots, some of them backing up over the three-point line, has missed 2 layups here in the third period.
Price. Adrian Caldwell now into the game for the 76ers. They just signed him today to a 10-day contract. Played with New Jersey earlier this year, and he scores his first points here as a 76er. Played last year with Indiana, formerly a member of the Houston Rockets. Warrior lead is down to 16, so Alleman calls a late third quarter timeout. Philadelphia, their first run of the game, 8-0, and they've trimmed the lead down to 16. We told you about the 66-67 Sixers. How about their next championship club 16 years later? The famed full group of Moses Malone and Julius Erving. And what a cast they had. Maurice Cheeks at point guard, Andrew Toney, the Boston Strangler, in the backcourt with Bobby Jones at small forward. Moses and Julius, they went 65-17 that year. Took out the Lakers in the NBA Finals to give Dr. J his first and only NBA championship. Head coach Billy Cunningham. Maurice Cheeks now an assistant coach with the Sixers, and a guy who was helping to groom Allen Iverson. Sixers coming back a bit. Warriors led by as many as 25. Joe Smith. Oh, a good rebound by Chris Mullin. Back to Joe. Into Marshall. And he travels, so a 3-second violation is called. And the ball goes back over to Philadelphia. First time tonight, Jim, the Warriors are beginning to grind the gears.
But you know what? That was great passing and perhaps a little bit of overpassing. I thought it was a tremendous pass back to Joe Smith by Chris Mullin. And then I think the official simply felt sorry for Philadelphia in one of those things. Well, and now the Warriors are starting to stand around a little bit, getting a little precarious. They need to make a run here before this third quarter ends.
1:20 to go in the quarter. The Sixers have trimmed a 25-point lead down to 14. Mullin spinning into Caldwell. Joe Smith was fouled.
Mullin breaking down the defense, just doing a nice job again. How often do you see Mullin beating people off the dribble like he did? He was effective enough that he forced a player rotation to allow Joe Smith to come in. He would have had a dunk had he not been fouled. Greg, I really like the rivalry, though, of Iverson and Mark Price. If you just watch Mark Price, and if you just had a single camera on him, it's amazing how he is just simply dogging Iverson everywhere and trying to make a steal, trying to just, a minute ago he beat him off the dribble, knocked him out of bounds a little bit with his chest, no foul called, and then made a nice pass out to the perimeter, trying to show him how point guard should be played.
Joe Smith missed both free throws, but the Warriors battle the rebound out of bounds off a Sixer, and they'll retain the possession. Shot clock at 23. 1 minute and 8 seconds remain in this third quarter. Iverson trying to take it away on the Price pass. He dives over the end line but cannot save it. Warriors keep the ball.
21 seconds left. Yeah, I think it's time for Mark to just stop, get Iverson in the air, let him go out of the way, and then hit the shot. Let's see what happens with the two-man game.
Joe Smith gets the basket. Beautifully done by Joe. And a very big hoop for the Warriors.
And a nice pass and assist from Mark Price.
Davis light, and they called a foul.
Ooh, this is a bailout call.
It's on Joe Smith. Joe's second of the game. Mark Davis will be on the free throw line.
Let's look at it here. Folks, Joe Smith wasn't anywhere near. Davis simply ran into his own teammate, Jerry Stackhouse. Rick Alleman in a quandary about it. I don't blame him. I mean, Joe Smith wasn't even near the play.
Solid game once again for Mark Davis. Mark has already played more minutes this year than he played all of last year as a member of the Timberwolves, playing about 21 minutes a night this year and lately in the starting role. Warrior lead once again 14. Sixers have left themselves a reachable figure for the fourth quarter. Price with the miss. Well, you're still getting good shots. They're just not falling right now. There's Stackhouse. Mark Davis into McLean. And he steps in and he's fouled. Don McLean, an excellent free throw shooter, got whacked on the head. And he's going to be on the line. And if he makes both, the Warrior lead will be down to 12. I say McLean, an excellent free throw shooter, but this year he has struggled, as he has just had a very tough time in Philly. 9 of 17 coming into the game at the free throw line for the All-American Pop. His first free throw tonight goes. Remember Don McLean's former UCLA teammate Trevor Wilson? And they now are partners in a Southern California catering service called Sandbags.
Well,
not bad.
UCLA's produced a lot of great basketball players. Who's the leading scorer in UCLA history? Don McLean.
Even more than Reggie Miller? Even more than Lou Alcindor? Now, Don was a good scorer as a freshman. I remember Kareem didn't play, or Alcindor didn't play. As a freshman, they were not allowed.
I was going to say, he had 4 years in which to do it.
Joe Smith steps in with 3 on the clock. He buries one with 2.2 to go. Sixers have time, though. Stackhouse from near midcourt. Warriors will get out of the third quarter with a lead of 14 points. They began the quarter up 21, built it as high as 25, but they still are in very good shape. Our Budweiser game summary through 36 minutes. The Warriors did cool off in the third quarter, but still they have hit 43 of 73 shots to Philadelphia's 34 of 70. It has been a game-long pushing and shoving match between Mark Price and Allen Iverson. This dates back to the preseason and also their matchup a couple of weeks ago in San Jose. These two guys apparently just don't like each other. Witherspoon misses. He'll be on the line. Today's news today, along with thought-provoking commentary from the Bay Area and beyond, the San Francisco Examiner, the afternoon paper. And they may have a word or two tomorrow about George Seifert stepping down as coach of the 49ers. That had the Warrior coaching staff real shocked.
Well, that is shocking news. And I'm surprised that George Seifert did not get a contract extension. He wanted a contract extension. And I guarantee you there were other NFL clubs talking to Mariucci from Cal. Steve Mariucci, I'm sure. I thought he may go to San Diego where Bobby Ross had resigned in much kind of the same fashion that George Seifert did. Little disagreement with Bobby Beathard.
Mark Price has the ball poked out. Warriors will keep it. Warrior lead down at 12. I heard an interview recently with Carmen Policy, and he was just concerned about George Seifert staying too long. He felt that, citing Bill Walsh and certainly John Madden in the NBA, Pat Riley had the same problem with the Lakers. They're 10 years, and they just get tired of the same message. You need a change, and that's what the 49er philosophy was and is. Daniel Marshall to miss.
I don't think Seifert was getting tired, and I think he was far from it, but that's my opinion. Back to this.
The players may be tired of the message.
We got a 12-point game here, and the Sixers with the ball.
Stackhouse. Nice pass by Davis. No shot, though. Stackhouse a 3. Oh, nice play by Mark Davis. He tried to tip a long one. Would have been better served just to rebound the ball. And now in the lane, we have a foul called. And it's on it's on Mark Davis of the Sixers, his 3rd foul of the game.
This would have been a big hoop from Stackhouse. Davis quick to the ball. Said he was a quick leaper. They call a push on him in the back of Daniel Marshall.
He didn't appear to do a whole lot to get that call.
No.
Boy, Adrian Caldwell is a big man. In fact, too big. That's part of the reason the Nets let him go. Yep. And he pushes with Joe, then releases, and Joe can't get the ball. Turnover for the Warriors.
He was supposed to be down to 270 pounds by training camp. And then by the end of December, he was over that weight. So they decided to put him on waivers. Didn't guarantee the contract.
Here he goes. Weighs about 285 right now. 10-point game. Long way to go. 10 minutes and 20 seconds to play in Philadelphia. The Sixers have only won once since the Saturday after Thanksgiving. That was a win at Denver, their only road win of the year. Little mismatch here as far as foot speed. Mark Davis appeared to kick that ball. And now we have a foul on Mark Price of the Warriors. What a call by Wonderlic. Iverson comes up with a bump ankle. And Adelman is incensed. The ball appeared to be kicked by Mark Davis.
Well, first of all, watch Adrian Caldwell. I guess it was Davis, excuse me, run into Sprewell. So they don't call a foul there. Now you're going to see the dive. And they call that on Mark Price. Iverson's limping a little bit, but Price simply beat him to the floor, into the ball. Very poor call.
Warriors 11 turnovers tonight. Philadelphia only 6. 18-4 Sixer run since late third quarter.
Mark
Price still talking to the referee, Wonderlic. Witherspoon with an air ball. Good Warrior defense inside. One of the few bad shots of the game for Clarence Witherspoon. Bump along the baseline. Fouls on the Spoon. That's his third of the evening.
You know,
and now Spoon has to be held back by teammate Mark Davis. At least the Sixers have some fight in them tonight. We were not certain they were going to show this kind of intensity earlier.
Iverson tries to retaliate against Price by shooting the ball. Now Mark Price is barely shooting the ball tonight, particularly in the second half. So he's trying to do it via the pass.
Foul on Jerry Stackhouse. That's his third. And the Sixers' third.
Price was 4 for 7 at halftime. He's missed his only 2 field goal attempts here in the second half.
Sixers with 3 early fouls in this fourth quarter. Sprewell a quick pop. Joe Smith was held. And there's a foul on Michael Cage. That is Philadelphia's 4th foul of the first 2.5 minutes of the fourth quarter. So in theory, the Warriors should have a free throwing edge throughout the final quarter. 3rd personal foul on the veteran Michael Cage, who the Sixers signed as a free agent in August, trying to add some stability to a very young team.
That should have gone out to Price. Finally does.
Price, three-pointer, knocked it down. Price has 11 points. Pardon me, 12 points on a three-pointer, his first hoop of the second half. Foul on the other end called on Donyell Marshall, says referee Ronnie Nunn. That's his 4th foul. 4 on Donyell. Big ovation here as Adrian Caldwell comes back. Philadelphia falling in love with Big Adrian right away, just signed to a 10-day today. That's the way this city is. They love hard workers.
And here's one of the hardest of them all, Witherspoon.
Stackhouse traveling. Boy, does he have rough fundamentals with his footwork. He does that quite a bit. Keep in mind, though, he was not a guard at North Carolina. He played forward.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't excuse it. One of the problems, though, the officials are really looking to call traveling this year, especially off of that first step. Price looking to bury another. Doesn't get it, but
tipped the rebound. Sprewell races it down, throws it at the rim. Not sure he had to rush that so quickly.
I think it was trying to pass, Greg. I don't think it was a shot. Maybe didn't have any other angle.
Price up the floor. Sprewell. Oh, he missed the dunk out of bounds. That'll get him riled up here in Philly.
Well, he was all alone. Missed the double clutcher.
Timeout called, 8.5 to go. Warriors have to settle for a 13-point lead. Golden State Warriors basketball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. Keep in mind, you can buy 2 tickets for the price of 1 to 20 Warrior home games when you pick up a treat seat coupon at any Target store and redeem it where you purchase your tickets. Tickets are subject to availability. Foul on Latrell Sprewell.
No shot.
But it's the Warriors' 4th team foul. Sprewell picks up 3. So both of these clubs should shoot a lot of free throws from this point forward. They are both into the bonus on the next foul. 8.5 minutes to play. Philly still has not made a three. The Warriors outscoring them 21-0 beyond the line. Here's Stackhouse stubbornly going all the way in again.
That was a very tough finish in heavy traffic. He is what you call a volume shooter. In other words, he needs to shoot a lot to score a lot of points. Price wide open.
Price is what you call an efficient shooter.
Yes.
Along the lines of a John Stockton, a Jeff Hornacek. 105-91. Price with 15 points off the bench. Here's Mark Davis into Caldwell.
I like Davis, by the way. He understands the game. What a finish again by Jerry Stackhouse.
They compared him to Michael Jordan when he came out of school. Now you're seeing it. Iverson the steal, and then Davis throws it right away to Donyell Marshall. Warrior lead is still 12.
It was so noisy in here after that brilliant move that Price could not hear his teammates saying, "Watch out for Iverson." He didn't come meet the basketball. Donyell made up for it. Great steal.
Price, good look, wide open. Donyell for a three, wouldn't go. Adrian Caldwell playing the center for Philadelphia at 6'9", 280 pounds. Davis commits another turnover. Marshall up the floor. Price will not chance it.
Marshall deflected the pass. Those long arms.
Joe having a hard time with the size, the bulk of Caldwell. Joe wants to reset. Shot clock is down. Joe's going to set a pick for Price. And it's going to be a tough shot. No, rebound to Caldwell. John McClain will come in for Philly. They need one more scorer on the floor. Iverson into Witherspoon. He'll be on the line. Fouled by Donyell Marshall.
Donyell Marshall. That's his fifth.
Number 5 for Donyell. He leaves. Bit agitated, whipping a towel on his way off the floor. Mark Davis leaves much more peacefully. John McClain is in for Davis. Mullen is in for Marshall. Also, B.J. Armstrong is in for Mark Price. Now, this is part of the problem in starting B.J.
Yes,
Gallivan was concerned with this. He wants Mark Price to finish games. So you'll possibly see B.J. play 2, maybe 3 minutes. Then it may go to Price. Or if B.J.'s playing well and the team executing well, there may not be a change.
10-point basketball game, 6.5 to go. The Warriors just aren't scoring here in the fourth quarter.
Clarence Witherspoon, a season-high 34. He is 1 point off his career high. Sprewell locks him up. Does not get the roll, but the rebound pulled by Royal. Comes out of it. 6 minutes to play.
He just gives you 3 or 4 extra possessions every game. I'm not sure it's defense. The Warriors just missed a lot of easy shots, too.
Joe, the miss. Royal gets popped by Caldwell. Well, that was a big hit.
No, Greg, I'm going to go back to the Warriors aren't scoring here in the fourth quarter. Sprewell, who had 23 at the half, missed 2 layups in the third quarter. You saw him miss that dunk a moment ago at 6 points he should have had. Again, it's not the great defense of Philadelphia. They've scored a little. Philadelphia's come back with some offense of their own. Stackhouse in the last few minutes, but the Warriors just haven't put the ball in the basket. Good hustle play again by Donald Royal.
See if Donald can make a free throw here. He's had a rough night at the line. Now 2 for 5. Warriors up 106-95. Trying to get their first win on this 5-game road trip. They lost Sunday in Milwaukee and last night in Boston.
Now the job for Donald Royal is to defend Witherspoon because they're still going to go into that big guy.
BJ putting pressure on the passer Iverson. Iverson has to jump to make the pass. Stackhouse with 7. Back to Iverson, a corner 3, airballed it. Rebound out of bounds. It will be Sixer ball, they say, and the shot clock will still have a couple of seconds on it. They reset it to 24. That should not be the case. It should be at about 2.
Rick says 3.
They got a ball at 2.
That went off. That ball went off the chest of B.J. Armstrong. And you're right, 2 seconds.
Clarence Witherspoon has a little bit of blood coming down his tricep. Stackhouse, he will not go. Oh, they called a foul. They called a foul on the Warriors. Sprewell. Bill Spooner calls the foul. What a tough break for the Warriors.
But Sprewell made the mistake. He left his feet. He left his feet, and there was contact. You've got to stay on the floor. 2 seconds. Watch this. Sprewell will get up in the air. That is a no-no. And that wasn't a bad call. It was an automatic call.
Not a good choice by Spree. Foul number 4 on Sprewell. Stackhouse has 20 points, 21. Remember, he was fouled in the act of a three-pointer, so he gets 3 free throws. Stackhouse is 9 for 9 from the free throw line tonight. There's his first miss, but Adrian Caldwell tips it in. A 4-point play for the Sixers.
And that was as much Joe Smith.
There's Pat Croce, the Sixer owner.
Well, all the ball, this must be the basket down here that gets all the breaks. The Warriors had it in the first half. It has a magnet in it.
Warriors are up only 8 now. 5:15 to play in Philadelphia. Joe Smith having a hard time against Caldwell. This time will get fouled. But Caldwell's bodying is throwing Joe off just enough to get him to miss the shots he was making earlier. Joe Smith has not made a free throw tonight. He is 0 for 3. He has hit 11 of 17 shots from the floor. Just barely got that one down. Warriors having a rough free throwing game.
He walked that one in. He walked from the free throw line right underneath the basket, little body English, as it was still a little short. This one should get up and over the rim a little better.
11 of 19 from the line. The Warriors are 5 minutes to play. The Warriors by 10. Stackhouse, McClain, Iverson. Shot clock at 5. Caldwell, not a shooter. Rebound to Joe Smith. Good Warrior defense there. That's a very big sequence. Warriors can really kill the Sixer momentum with a basket here. Smith against Caldwell, right up over him.
I don't think the Warriors should stop running. If they get a chance, they can still try to take it all the way. Doesn't mean you've got to take a bad shot or a quick one.
Don McClain from the corner, 8-point game again. 109 to 101. Don McClain off the bench for a dozen. Rick Adelman calls off play number 3.
Speaking of quick, Don McClain has one of the quickest triggers, quickest releases in the league.
Mullen, play number 3 is Mullins, beautifully executed.
What a shooting night he's had.
7 of 10 from the floor for Chris. 18 points.
That's his first field goal attempt in the 4th.
Iverson fouled by B.J. Armstrong. Will Rick Adelman turn to Mark Price here in the next minute or so? 3:43 to play. Iverson looking to hit double figures. He won't get there now. He missed his first free throw. He has 8 points tonight. Johnny Davis, a point guard himself throughout his 10-year NBA career. Very good scorer. Averaged 13 points a game. 1 year average better than 18 a game. Played a couple with Portland. 4 in Indiana, 2 in Atlanta, a year and a half in Cleveland, and wound up his career back in Atlanta for the last half of that final year. Mullen gets inside, but he pushed off. Mullen will walk the technical tightrope here. Mullen, they're going to call delay of game, I think. Ronnie Nunn will not give him a technical. Yes, delay of game on Mullen.
Yeah, Mullen was protesting to Ronnie Nunn. Ronnie Nunn is not the official that made the call. It was Bill Spooner. Now, when Mullen protests that much, I don't think he's fibbing.
Foul on Royal at the rim. Mullen really hot. And he continues with Ronnie Nunn. Ronnie Nunn is a referee showing good veteran poise here and not giving Mullen a technical. Now Mullen gets into the ear of Bill Spooner. Meanwhile, Don McLean's on the line. Warriors lead by 9.
See, Ronnie Nunn didn't make the call at the other end. Bill Spooner made the call.
McLean with 13. Injuries have held him down throughout his career. Had knee tendonitis to begin the year, left hip strain. In fact, he was activated in that game against the Warriors after being on the injured list for 1 month. Back on January the 3rd, he came off again. Caldwell got inside. That's twice he's done that. This time he missed the shot. Caldwell's down. Warriors
should go.
No, they don't go. Look at a play in the half court. They had a 5-on-4 break. They're going to try to work the clock down. 3:10 to play. Warriors up 8. This time Witherspoon is guarding Joe Smith. Offensive foul.
That's why I still think
Tom Mullen.
They should have gone 5-on-4. And I thought it got real conservative then. Rick wanted them to go. BJ held it back a little bit, and by then it was over. And the shot clock was winding down, and then you get an offensive foul.
Ronnie Nunn didn't tee Chris up, but he got even with him on the call. McLean right up over Royal. 6-point game. Don McLean can't defend very well. He's a mediocre passer, doesn't rebound well. But man, can he light it up. Here's Sprewell. Shot clock under 10. Warriors need a good shot here. 5 on the clock. Stackhouse, they don't double Spree. He goes up in time, and he made the shot. Barely got it up before the 24 sounded.
And he didn't have a lot of daylight. That's a gutsy shot.
Ball tipped out by BJ. Mark Price will be coming back into the game. When we come back to Philadelphia, timeout called by Rick Adelman and the Warriors. That last Sprewell basket, a big one. Warriors up 8. 113 to 105. Warriors with 2:17 to play inside the Core State Center. Julius Erving, very appropriately, in his perch high atop the new building here in Philadelphia. Still lives in the Philadelphia area, has his mansion in Villanova.
I wonder if they moved that big bronze statue from the old arena, the Spectrum, over to here. That is a huge, huge replica of Dr. J.
I thought you meant the one of Rocky Balboa. Charlotte leading New Jersey Light, checking the Jack-in-the-Box scoreboard. Minnesota, Warriors need them to lose to Chicago. They're trying to beat them out for the playoffs. Orlando with a 9-point lead in Dallas. New York trying to give San Antonio their 6th consecutive loss. And later on, the Sonics and Raptors, the Grizzlies and Pistons. And I believe one more game. There you go. Indiana Pacers and the LA Clippers. Warriors will see the Pacers the next stop on the road trip. Will they be 1-2 on the trip, or will they be 0-3? Mullen moves them closer to 1-2 as he makes the first free throw. Warriors up 114 to 105. Solid game for Chris tonight. 19, now 20 points for Mullen. 7 of 10 from the floor. 4 of 4 from the line. He has 9 assists. He has 7 rebounds. Last time these two teams played, he picked up his 4th career triple-double. Stackhouse spinning and scoring. They won't go away tonight. They've not played any defense all night long, Philadelphia, but their offense has improved enough in the second half to trim the lead from 25 at one point down to 5. Now it's 8. Make it 10 as Joe Smith scores.
That is only the 18th point, though, in the 4th quarter for the Warriors. They just got a little cold.
Iverson gets the roll. Iverson barely to double figures tonight, has 11. Now the Warriors really want to run the clock. 1:20 to go. If they score just maybe once or 2 more times, they should hold off the Sixers and win this game. Sprewell on a quick 3, and he nailed it. Shot clock at 12, and he bombed it. He knew he had it. For Sprewell, his 4th 3 of the game. The Warriors have made 9 3-pointers tonight. Philadelphia, none. Warriors up 11. Timeout, Sixers.
third quarter for Spree. Inauspicious start in the fourth quarter. He missed that dunk, but he's come back in a big way.
Iverson driving, getting a foul in midair on Joe Smith. 76ers will be on the line. Foul on Joe, his third of the game.
You know what's remarkable about Sprewell's performance? Last time when he scored 39, he went to the free throw line 15 times tonight. Tonight in the first half he had 23, didn't go to the free throw line at all. He's only gone twice the entire evening. He's got 34 points, and only twice has he gone to the line. He's so hot from the outside.
Rebound Witherspoon. And the Sixers keep the ball alive. That's a third time they've been able to sneak in following a missed free throw to tip the ball. Now twice they've done good things with it, either scoring directly or regathering the possession. 1:04 to play. Warriors up 10. In very good shape, but not completely locked up with this game yet. Don McClain with a miss. Caldwell the tip, but it goes to Donald Royal. Now the Warriors are in very good shape. Now Price will bring it across midcourt and be fouled by Allen Iverson. Price will be on the line. Price has made 30 in a row from the free throw line. He is the NBA's all-time best free throw shooter, and once again he's right there at the top, tied with former teammate Terrell Brandon of the Cavaliers at 91%. This is the equivalent of bringing in Dennis Eckersley for the last out of the game. The folks here in Philadelphia are grabbing their overcoats, putting on their hats, their gloves. It's going to be a cold one in Philly tonight. Actually, the weekend is going to be extremely cold. Temperatures will dip down into the teens. Sprewell to steal, and he is fouled before he can get it up the floor to Mullen with 46 seconds to go. So the Warriors will win this one tonight, and they will take a record now of 14-22, Jim. Once again, Team Boomerang. A little late coming back, but after a rough performance in Boston following the rough one in Milwaukee, you could almost count on a good solid performance from this team. They don't normally lay down like that several games in a row.
No, in fact, quite frankly, I was still surprised by the loss last night. I thought after 3 games, the one in Milwaukee, it was kind of give and take there a little bit because of the big front line, Vinny Baker and Glenn Robinson. Ray Allen had a tremendous game. I thought they would beat Boston handily last night. I thought they would come here to Philadelphia and go into Indiana on Thursday night 2-1
on the trip.
So a day off, and you have 2 more games, and they're both winnable, although it'll be tough in Indiana. And Minnesota's been playing excellent basketball lately.
Good news about the Indiana game. Sprewell picks up his 5th foul. The Pacers will be playing the first game back in that game after a long Western trip. In fact, tonight the Pacers are playing the LA Clippers at the Sports Arena. So they're going to be a little tired. That's a tough trip for Eastern clubs to go west to east. We'll have that game for you Friday night, a tape delay broadcast at 6 o'clock right here on KICU. And the Warriors wind up the trip Saturday in Minneapolis. An important date against the Timberwolves, a team that is going to battle the Warriors for the playoff spot this year. And it's back home on Tuesday for the Dallas Mavericks.
I think it's important for Felton Spencer to rest that toe and come back and play against Rick Smits and the Pacers, the Davis boys. You see that game Antonio Davis had? 30 points.
Also Eric Dampier, the young center, playing extremely well. Rick Smits has been playing, but he's been playing in severe pain, has problems with both feet. That's a good point you make. Felton missing the game tonight because of the pain to his left foot. Also Bimbo Cole's unavailable. Bimbo actually feared that he was having a heart attack during last night's game on the bench. He said he didn't get hit or anything. All of a sudden he got shooting pains to his chest. And then because he got scared, his heart began to race a little bit.
Well, Sprewell just picks up a little garbage. Yeah, Bimbo told me he did not get hit at all, and he said it was a muscle. He did point above the heart area. Didn't give me too much detail about it. I think he's okay.
38 for Sprewell, his season high 43. He'll back off of that. He had 39 against Philly on January the 3rd in the win. He's going to have 38 tonight in the win. Mullen also had 20. Joe Smith 26. Mark Price 19. Warriors shot 56% from the floor, and they bounced back. After losing the first 2 stops on this road trip, they come to Philadelphia and they drub the 76ers with their highest scoring output of the year. They had 73 points in the first half. That was the highest scoring half of the year. And they wind up with a new season high point total of 128 in their 17-point win tonight.